It was bullish as early as February 24th. And this is when you got the signal from the edge finder to be more bullish. So that's going to come in right here. So over the weekend, it flipped bullish. That was likely on COT data. That is right when I entered my trade. I liked the setup on the lower time frames. I entered long, and it has run for the hills since then. This week we got some stuff from the Fed, and that's going to be probably the main theme of this trading week as we get started here. On Wednesday, we get from the Federal Reserve, we get a couple key things. So the obvious one is we'll hear from Jerome Powell. The press conference will be what markets are really interested in. Fed funds rate, pretty much guaranteed, almost perfectly guaranteed. Nothing is absolutely guaranteed, but pretty much certain that we will not see our first rate cut this time around. What we'll do is I'm just going to remove the neutral readings here, see where we're at with the edge finder. We've got several bullish readings. Oil's on there. I'd like to take a closer look at oil. Notably, gold is not on there. And what that means for my positioning, by the way, is I am long gold, but tentatively will get stopped out if price rolls over. So my theory with this right now with gold is that the edge finder's reading is neutral on gold. And so how do I play that? Well, if I'm in a long position, which I am, so if I'm long, how am I handling this if I get a neutral reading now from edge finder? So initially, edge finder was bullish, right? Edge finder was bullish. We now got the trade, great. But now the edge finder is neutral, right? In for neutral. What do we do in that scenario? Well, here's what I do. I just trail a stop. So if the market rolls over here, then cool, I'll take my profits. I'm good with that. But if the market can bounce here and continue to push off of this area, then I'll try and hold on to that trade. So just neutral. Neutral means I'm not buying, I'm not selling, I'm just waiting. So anyways, let's take a look at some other stuff here. We're getting some bearish readings on the Kiwi against the dollar. That's kind of a pseudo bullish USD read, right? Because we're selling Kiwi, buying dollar in that case. Oil's interesting. Euro CAD, Euro Swiss, Euro Pound. Look at the Euro. The Euro is making a play. And notably, the DAX as well, which of course looks at a lot of economic data out of Europe, is suggesting that perhaps the Euro could see a bit of a push. Let's look at Euro Yen really quick, just while we're on the subject of Euro, which is, again, like I said, it's getting a lot of strong reads. See if we see anything on the Euro against the Japanese Yen. Here's the daily chart. I'd be interested potentially if we get a breakout through the highs, right? Break and retest could be something of interest as a potential swing trade. Let's see what else we had. Euro Kiwi. Let's look at Euro Kiwi because I know several people who are trading long Euro Kiwi, and we are now coming up into resistance here. But what I'd be interested to see, same concept with the Euro Yen, I'm getting a bullish reading on the edge finder for Euro Kiwi. So my thought process here would be, can we break through and make a leg higher? This actually would be incredibly bullish to watch this week. If we get this move, boom, boom, I actually really like Euro Kiwi to the long side. Why? Why Euro Kiwi to the long side?
Market analysis, free trading courses, edge finder data, and special offers. What do these things all have in common? They're all available for you right now inside of our free Discord. You can click the link down in the description below to join the free Discord today and get access to all of this and more. Stay up to date with all the latest trading information and A1 content. And if you want to upgrade to our Gold VIP Discord that features every single trade that Trader Nick and our other professional analysts take, you can find the links for that in the description as well. So don't wait, go check out the free Discord today.
DM says, how early was the edge finder showing gold bullish? I'll show you that in a second. I can show you that historical scoring on the edge finder in just a second. Why Euro Kiwi to the long side? Score is 7 and Euro Yen is 8. COT data is giving us some positive confirmation, so favoring Euro over the Kiwi. Retail positioning would show you that retail traders are shorting the euro kiwi and the euro yen. So that's a bullish contrarian signal. Seasonality is not working in our favor. So the month of March, not particularly bullish for euro kiwi or euro yen. The trend is to the upside. So we're getting up scores there. GDP numbers really favor Europe over the kiwi. It's mixed when looking at euro yen. Manufacturing PMIs, services PMIs. You can see how the Edge Finder is scoring each tab, and this is considering a whole lot of data automatically and then generating our bullish signals. What I love about this is that I don't have to go dig through all of this market data by myself. It's generating these signals automatically in the software. So yeah, it's kind of cool in that regard. So I do like euro pairs to the upside. That could be an interesting play this week. Oil also something to watch out for. And the DAX seems like an interesting play as well. The DAX is getting a lot of strength here. Why is that? Well, look, inflation in Europe coming down, retail sales, services PMI, labor markets looking okay relative to other places. I mean, you're getting some nice economic reads, which are contributing to this overall +9. Usually, guys, when you get a 9 score or a -9, what that usually is entailing is that you've got something that's really a lot of indicators are pointing one way or the other. And I really like those sorts of trades. Why is, I promised I would do this, so let me do this really quick. I wanted to take a look at the gold market on our historical backtest page. This page is being worked on currently. We're making some improvements to this, so that's why you got your under maintenance thing. But the functionality is mostly there. But somebody asked me how soon was gold giving us a bullish reading. This is our historical reading on gold from the Edge Finder. So if you want a little back test here really quick, here's the Edge Finder's bullish bearish reading. So it was bullish as early as February 24th. So let's go take a look at February 24th on gold. And this is when you got the signal from the Edge Finder to be more bullish. So that's going to come in right, I'm going to do a vertical line, February right here. So over the weekend, it flipped bullish. That was likely on COT data. That is right when I entered my trade. This is a poster child for the Edge Finder right here, guys. So the Edge Finder got bullish. I liked the setup on the lower time frames. I entered long, and it has run for the hills since then. So let's go oil. Let's go gold. Let's take the S&P 500. Let's do the euro dollar. I'm just picking the ones that I know a lot of traders here care about. Let's do pound USD. And I love that I can now do this. So check this out. This is cool. So now with the Edge Finder, with this top setups algorithm page, you can actually just sort it for the ones you want to look at. So if you don't want to look all of them at the same time, here's some of the most popular ones. So the S&P 500 is getting a neutral reading. Gold is getting a neutral reading. The euro is getting a neutral reading. The Dow and oil are getting bullish. And this is really interesting to me. I'd like to take a closer look at the Dow, that's US 30, and take a look at oil. These are possible bullish setups for me this week. So what I'll do now is I'll flip over to the Edge Finder's setups here. Let's go to Dow really quick. So the Dow, on a daily chart perspective, has been in this grinding upward trend. And, you know, the Edge Finder here for me is generating a nice bullish setup. But overall, I'd be very interested to see if we can get a pullback down into this region here. This could be a soft pickup for me this week. And what I mean by that is a small size, because we do have the Fed meeting this week. So I don't want to go super size on anything. And truthfully, I don't really trust any of these moves that we're seeing right now, just because you don't know if they're going to follow through or if they're going to completely reverse, because we have the Fed meeting on Wednesday. Okay. Can you explain how to use the put to call ratio? Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward one. I'll show you this really quick. Put call ratio is a really awesome indicator. All it does is it says what's the volume of puts relative to calls. If it goes lower, that means there's a lot more volume on calls. If it goes higher, that means there's a lot more volume on puts. If it gets extreme one way or the other, I usually take that as a signal to be a little cautious and perhaps even contrarian. So right now we're seeing a pretty low print on the put to call ratio. That would suggest a lot of people are getting really bullish. For me, usually what you see is that kind of taper off and go back the other way. So huge volume in calls or a huge volume in puts oftentimes is a topping or bottoming signal. We got indices moving higher, the Dow lagging the group, the dollar index is up on the day. We've got the pound and euro giving back some gains. Gold is it's up but pulling back slightly, and oil is pulling back as well. Ivan, where do we start as we prep for this huge week, and how are you approaching it?
By not making any trading plans, by taking as it comes. It's going to be 6 major central bank monetary decisions this week from the G10 countries. So it's a lot. So there's going to be a lot of updating this week, and then I'm going to do whatever after that has happened. So it's just an update. So I don't want to be caught in the volatility in the
No, I totally understand that. You got to mention, you mentioned something that's really important there. You got the S&B, you got the Bank of England, you got the Fed, ECB. There's so many key banks and their key central banks, and their kind of positions will be a little bit revealed to us this week. Ivan, I guess so. Of course, I would agree. It's a risky time to jump into a whole bunch of trades, but more importantly, what are you looking for in terms of central banks and what they have to say, whether it be the Fed or another one? What are you really looking for as kind of a macro picture for currencies that you might be watching, or gold, or whatever you'd like to trade? What are you looking for the most out of this week?
This week, I'm looking to find to get out of my baby face, apparently.
Hey, I still got mine. I can't grow a beard, so I'll always have a baby face. That's okay with me. Nothing wrong with a baby face.
I did take this morning, actually. That's actually very true, so thank you for noticing. But Bank of Japan, if they're going to exit, that's going to be the kicker and the difference. Bank of England is not going to do anything. Fed is not going to do anything. Swiss National Bank is not going to do anything. Norges Bank is not going to do anything. RBA is not going to do anything. So Bank of Japan is kind of like the one that really sticks out, and it has the most volatility, because that's where all the carry trades has been put out, and market has not priced it in. That's a possibility. So that's where the power is stored at the moment.
It is interesting. The Bank of Japan seems like the one that they kind of just come out of left field sometimes and surprise us all with something. And it will be interesting to see if we get anything out of that. Do you have any trades open, Ivan, right now, or anything that all this news, this volatility could get you into in terms of like what's on your watch list?
Let me put you on a different mode here. I'm just gonna curveball you a bit. I'm waiting for a very strong seasonal pattern. That's the only thing that it is. Australian dollar, New Zealand, bullish from give or take 7th of March to around 15th of May. So I'm just waiting for this one to calm down. And this is kind of the only safe bet that I have out there. Safe bet, sorry, that was the wrong word. That's the only thing I can do, because yen is going to be volatile, dollar is going to be volatile, gold is volatile, oil is doing whatever that is, and then the stock is doing his own thing. So that's kind of my only slow burner that I have at the moment.
Okay, Aussie Kiwi. So you're already in a trade, or are you looking to get in one?
I'm looking for this week.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's of course an interesting one, because the Australian dollar versus the Kiwi dollar, they have similar economies, but you point out something really cool there. You point out the seasonal tendency between the currency pair. Seasonality is a fascinating indicator that we could spend all day talking about. But you mentioned some other things there, and I want to ask you maybe about the euro dollar, because I know we've talked about the euro dollar together for a long time. This week, what gets you, I guess, first of all, do you have a bullish or bearish bias currently on the euro dollar overall? Bearish. Okay. So overall bearish, what gets you into a trade this week? Is it a pullback higher that gets you in, or is it a breakdown and then a pullback? What could trigger I guess in terms of central bank jargon or speak, what could trigger you to get into a trade on that?
What do I need?
Mhm.
I blatantly need a new lower low
Hmm.
break of that. But I just need as the best thing I can get, and I don't get it. I think I will not get, but that Powell says that they're not cutting anytime soon. I like blatantly like not having it anymore anytime soon. Yes, and they need to be restrictive over also be restrictive for longer then. And he is surprised that inflation has risen again or not fallen as expected. Any kind of those three comments would be very bullish for dollar, because that means that we have slight small chances of May maybe that will be kicked out, and June will then be out of the picture. So market needs to then reprice when interest rates are going to come down again. So it's obviously that's what I need.
Yeah, and again, I like the way you broke that down, because if he did come out and say, Ivan, what's fascinating to me is this week we get not only the press conference with Jerome Powell, but we also get the dot plot from the Fed, and that's going to be
Yeah,
huge, because what I love about the dot plot is you can't hide in creative speak when it comes to the dot plot. The dot plot is a dot plot, like it is literally just numbers of how many rate cuts and when, and the market's going to love that or hate that based on what it says. Because what if that dot plot comes out and suddenly we're not seeing 3 rate cuts anymore, we're seeing 2? Or what if we do see still 3 is on the table? And, it is an election year, so there's so much tension here. Yes, you have some hot inflation rates, but it's also an election year. The current president will probably keep Jerome Powell in the seat, and if there is a change in office to Donald Trump, it's possible that he could get removed from it. So there's so much tension from that perspective. Donald Trump has been pretty vocal. He doesn't love everything that Jerome Powell has done, and I don't know. I wonder if that's a factor in whether they'll admit it or not. If it's a factor in their monetary policy, I don't know. What do you think? If you see 2 rate cuts now factored in, I imagine that would kind of be your euro dollar bearish setup, right? Because now you're suddenly the needle has moved dramatically. Dollar's getting strong. Would that be a fair fair theory?
Yeah, not even a fair theory. That's a very good theory.
Yeah.
That's what you need theory.
Yeah.
Because what also so there's two groups playing in here. There's one, those who are predicting or looking at CPI, looking at the data, and then there's another group that is more I guess they are hedge funds and pension funds and more longer term. They go by the fact. So they would exit their trade when the fact that Fed has said we are not going to do, or we see the dot plot is not as aggressive as it previously was. And then they're going to be a move. There's definitely going to be a move there. And obviously, I would love the euro to be even higher before selling, to be honest. I would love like 110, 111. We are currently like 109. So it's not a perfect spot, but going forward, also less rate cuts priced in the dot plot that is expected, or like blatantly just say we're not ready to cut anytime soon, which is, when I think about it, a very fair statement. He doesn't have the data to back what he wants to do, and so you can kind of hope and pray. And I think he learned something from last time, that he slipped and he saw the reaction. He doesn't want that to happen, so I don't think I think he's going to be more cautious this time around.
Yep. No, I think you've set the scene really well for us, Ivan. And I think that with this week, the other thing to think about is that you made mention to, we've had some hot inflation. We've had higher than expected PPI wholesale numbers. We've seen higher than expected CPI. But at the end of the day, we see those numbers, but it only matters what Jerome Powell and his entourage, his team, says that they're going to do about those numbers, right? Because if they come out And this is where I have to remain open-minded, because I am still thinking that I think that the indices could pull back. I'm thinking that Jerome Powell is going to look at these inflation numbers and say, yeah, they look a little bit hot, and we're not very happy with where that is at. And that could change the market scenario. But if he says something to the contrary, at the end of the day, his word matters more than my theories of what his words are going to be. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we get anything changing. But going into this week, I would generally think that dollar could see a little bit of upside, and indices could see a little bit of downside. But we'll see if that plays out, or if I'm totally off on that.
Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button, or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.